Okay, hi Leos, and welcome to your July 2021 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky to talk to you about the energies coming in for your month. A very beautiful, much more lighthearted month of July. We are getting into Leo season at the end of the month, and I'll be talking more about Leo season in general by the end of the month, so make sure you've hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notification so you get notified when my Leo season video goes out. But yes, let's talk about you in the month of July. So by this time in July, you already know how you don't need to start over, or how you don't need to portray yourself. You know what not to do, basically, here. There's a big emphasis on what not to do, on what is a waste of time, on what is not evocative of the more wholesome, the more new version of you, the more wholesome new version of you. The world reversed and the fool reversed are very interesting to me, and it really strikes me in something that I don't see very often. It's a kind of a rare combination of cards. It says to me that you are not in a beginning or ending phase. You are in an in-between place here. Okay, you are on the middle of the bridge. You are, here in the US, there is that very long bridge in Louisiana. I forget what it's called. I've been across it a few times myself, but it's a very long bridge. I think it's one of the longest bridges in the world. And you just go out and you go over the bridge and you're in the middle of the water for a long time. And that to me feels like what your energy is. I got flashbacks of once when I was driving over that bridge. Anyway, there's a lot of those bridges in the world, and Leo seems to be on one of those bridges. And 9 of Wands is coming up, 7 of Wands, 2 of Pentacles reversed, which also are evocative of that, like getting through something, knowing that you have to keep on keeping on. There's a just keep moving energy coming in. I'm hearing just keep moving. And you guys need to make sure that your health is good, okay? You need to make sure that you are able to keep up with this and able to start over in the ways that you want when it comes time, able to conclude when it comes time. So to me, this looks like maybe redoing your budget, making sure that your finances and that your energy are supporting your future goals. It's very hard to make changes when we have no savings, or when we have nothing built up underneath us. So for some Leos, it looks like it might be necessary to tighten the belt, okay? It looks like it might be necessary also to, this is contradictory, but to understand when this bridge ends. Do we have enough gas in the car to get across this bridge, okay? We would not want to go over that bridge in Louisiana on an empty tank of gas, okay? Having the AAA, having the insurance, having the things which make us feel stable and calm, I think would also be very important at this time for everyone, not just for Leo, but also for Leo. And I saw this in Cancer's reading too. It's important to get that health checkup now, to get the blood work done, to get anything done. If your teeth are hurting, get to the dentist. You know, we don't need to stretch out healing. We don't need to prolong our healing process and cause more damage. If we're having pain in our teeth, let's fix that now. Let's not let that turn into a much bigger problem. Okay? If we know that what we're laboring at right now is not right for us, let's not spend, 10 more years in that when it's only going to take 2 more years. I know that those timelines feel crazy to a lot of people, but there's a big 2-year cycle cropping up right here. And I can pretty much say for most Leo people that by 2023, you might have a totally different way, okay? But we got to get there first. I think that a lot of Leos might just be looking at 2023 and 2024 now, and they're not thinking about 2021 or 2022. That's a great way to have a health problem. That's a great way to deprive yourself with the thought that it gives you more in the future, but it may and may not. Understanding what the difference between saving and deprivation is. I know a lot of people who save so much that they feel deprived in the current moment, and that is not the way, okay? Very rarely is that good. But basically, I'm very intrigued in the energy this month, Leo. We are in Cancer season for most of July, which is always a pulling back. It's always a simplifying. It's always a making things more mundane type of energy. And trust me, later this year, there's going to be more like fireworks and more, wild, fun rides. But this is not one of those times. Let's keep it easy. Let's keep it simple. Let's get stronger, healthier, and more abundant in July. Okay, let's talk about the week to week. Week number 1, you've got 3 of Wands rooted down by 9 of Wands. What it takes to get to the other side, what it takes to get to the horizon. What is the price of ambition? What is the price of future tripping? What is the price of dreams and goals? I think it's less than you might be making it. It seems like you might be putting yourself through too much to get certain places, and there can be much easier ways, okay? Much easier ways to do what you're doing right now. If you have a very eccentric life, or if you do things differently, that can probably be easier now. So like if there's not this like tried and true path, or if there's not like the example of many other people in your profession or in what you're doing, if it's kind of eccentric, you should be able to make that easier here and kind of heal and get stronger. Because whenever I see 9 of Wands, it's like the burnout card. I'm like always telling people, cut back. Don't put yourself through such crazy things. Like try to understand what is timeless about what you're doing. We got Jupiter in Pisces moving back into Aquarius. What's timeless about what you're doing? If there's nothing there, it could be something that is not really meant for the long term, but maybe it is relevant for the short term. Beware of burning out. Week 2, you've got 7 of Wands rooted down by the World reversed. Another burnout card. I'm not seeing burnout in the reading, but I'm seeing stories or startups that can lead to it. And that's really the key here. For it to really be burnout, you really have to see something like the Tower, or 5 of Wands as well, or 10 of Swords even, to really show that it just got to a point that was not manageable anymore. But that's not here. I don't see burnout, but I see maybe ethics or philosophies that say, yeah, I'm going to work that 14-hour day. I'm going to work 70 hours a week, and it's only temporarily, but I'm going to really get ahead. And that's okay. It's okay. Even here in this year of 2021, it's not awful, but we have to know what our limits are, okay? We have to know the end date. I always say, my advice to anyone who thinks that they need to temporarily work like a 70-hour work week to build up and move on to that next thing, it can work. It can be done tastefully. It can be done in a way where, yeah, people can really level up their lives quickly and not have to do that anymore. But you have to know when you're stopping. You've got to know in like November of 2021, there's not going to be any more 70-hour work weeks. And I'm going to manage what I get from these 70-hour work weeks in this time in a way that allows me to really level up my life afterward. It has to be very well planned, okay, if you're going to be in that place. And I don't really recommend that place for anyone, but some people have to do it, and I've been there too. When I first started this YouTube channel, that was how I lived for like 2 years, was 70-hour work weeks. And yes, it did end in a nasty autoimmune disease. And I had to totally drastically reform everything that I did and how I did it and rebuild it. But yes, it did give me something, but not without taking it either. So it's kind of like the way that those really fiery people get. I've got Leo rising myself. I've got a lot of Sag in my chart, and I have an Aries South Node. So I've got a fire trine, and people with a lot of fire do that. They burn big, and then it gets then there's no air, and the fire goes away, and it's volatile. So I think that Leo's really trying to overcome volatility at this time, and by the second week, you should be seeing it. Like the world reversed. It's saying, I kind of wanted to be done with this by now. I kind of wanted to be across this bridge by now, but it's still not over. It's still going. It has a necessity now. There's a necessity in what I'm doing, even though I didn't anticipate being at it for so long. I think that you just have to see the higher relevance of what you're doing. Like you just have to take a look at where the abundance is instead of where the lack is. There is a need, I think, for Leo people to optimize and become optimists, optimism. Think of the word optimism. It has optimize at the root, which is an interesting spin on what that word means. We think of optimists as people who are like maybe toxic positivity people, and I suppose that could be some of them, but at the root of that word is just optimizing what you have, and therefore simplifying and having an easier life through optimizing. So in that way, I would consider myself an optimist because I've really, myself as a Leo rising, I've been devoting a lot of the last few years to at least attempting to optimize what I have instead of just going wild and instead of just, running through and making things like really shiny and glamorous. I still have, the same profile picture here on YouTube, the same banner that's for many years. And it's withstanding the test of time, which is really, something that I am very proud of. But anyway, that is something important for all Leos right now, is to understand what has withstood the test of time. And there's a connecting point back to like summer of 2017 when we had that huge solar eclipse at the anaretic degree of Leo. There is a connecting point here. We've just had all those eclipses. And there is, it's not the type of connecting point that leads us out of that, as I think that we'll still be in that for a while. And we have to really give ourselves, warmth and not take away from our progress of being like, I didn't expect to be here and I wanted to be somewhere else by now and I am disappointed in my progress. Try to really give it to yourself in a different way. Like, wow, look at the stability, look at the loyalty, look at the security, okay? Even if it's hard to find those things, I think that those things are there for most Leo people. Week 3, you've got the Two of Pentacles reversed, rooted down by the Fool reversed. There's no indecision anymore. You kind of know what it takes. You kind of know what you are. You kind of know about your legacy at this point. You kind of know about how you're leading your life. And you can make alterations, but they have to be incremental. Incrementalism. This is beautiful. I'm getting chills. Leo really does have to be incremental right now. This is not about the huge changes. This is not about the wild flashes, about the, crazy long-term dilemmas that appear to right now be gifts, okay? This is about optimizing and securing what you now have through small incremental additions or renovations or shading, okay? As an artist shades through the image, it becomes more dimensional and has a different impact. That I feel to be Leo's focus right now. It's really nice. Like, try to not like if there's no bright shining like parties or royal events or crazy performances. Enjoy the less banal, exquisite softness of security that is here. Week 4, you've got King of Swords rooted down by Three of Pentacles reversed. You have knowledge. You know how things work here. You don't need to dissuade yourself and be like, okay, I need all this outside, expert opinion. I need like all of these, professionals to come in and like tell me how things are. You kind of already know. And here are the answers, okay? There's an answer in the 4th week, and only you can really answer some of these questions. It feels like there might be too much reliance on experts, or there might be too much reliance on other people to answer questions that only you can answer. Understand what that is and answer it for yourself, because you have a really nice mental, linguistic, just talk to yourself about it, journal about it, get it all out and be like, okay, this is good for me, this isn't. This is how I want to be remembered. Sometimes Leo has to look at it like that, with a little bit of ego involved. Is this how I want to be remembered? Is this what I would be remembered for? Instead of looking at it through the lens of like money or through the lens of what I'm just, drawn to in this season, what do I want to be remembered for? There's a legacy component coming in here, and that's actually not going to be solid until like 2024, but it is a seed being planted here. So keep it in mind. Okay, Leos, let's talk more about that, the seeds that we're planting, the how things start at a nice, securing starting point. In your extended reading on Patreon, you can click the center of your screen now. It'll also be linked below, and we're going to look at a central theme and a supporting theme and an oracle card, just to kind of shape up this stream of consciousness. So I also do bonus content over there, such as weekly forecasts that are only available every Saturday through Patreon. So check that out, and I hope you all have a wonderful month. Happy July, Leos. Bye.